Hello everyone, Gilligan Kruger 0829 here, and welcome to the first day of my very long belated Avengers movie series review. Yes, I apologize, I couldn't get this to you on the week the Avengers came out. I had tests, work stuff, and errands galore to do. I couldn't do any scripting or filming on any of these movies, but I promised you guys the Avengers in my 2011 series review video, so I'm gonna deliver it to you, and it's gonna go like this. In the order, we will look at Iron Man, The Incredible Hulk from 2008, Iron Man 2, Captain America the First Avenger, and we'll conclude with, of course, The Avengers, which just came out this month. And to those of you wondering, I'm not looking at Thor because I reviewed that last summer, and I will provide a link of how to get to that. Just like as we go along, I'll post up the links to the other videos. You'll see them on my wall, whatnot. But, of course, we're going to start with a film that started this franchise, Iron Man from 2008. It's been 4 years since Robert Downey Jr. put on the Iron Man suit, and not only changed his own career and the concept of Iron Man, but also changed the superhero movie in general. Does it live up to the extent that it gets all the time? Well, let's strap on the suit because we are looking at Iron Man. So this movie actually starts in the Middle East, where Tony Stark, played by Robert Downey Jr., is attacked while traveling in a caravan with armed forces after a weapons display. During this attack, a piece of shrapnel flies open and gets his heart, and would kill him, but he's kept alive by the terrorist group that plug him into an electro battery. The only downside is they want him to give them the plans and teach them how to build a missile called the Jericho, which he was demonstrating at the weapons show he was coming back from, and now the group wants to unleash it on the United States. Stark, however, refuses and builds, while captive, an arc reactor, which keeps him alive without having to be plugged into the battery. And he also builds a suit of armor that allows him to break out of the hostility and escape into the nearby desert. While there, he's rescued by his friend, Colonel James Rhodes, played by Terrence Howard, and is taken back to California. He's also reunited, once he gets there, with his assistant, Pepper Potts. I know that's a weird name. Sounds more like something you'd get at Target or something, but we're not striking out at that. She's played by Gwyneth Paltrow, and he's also reunited with his second-in-command and friend of his father, who owned Stark Industries before him, Obadiah Stane, played by Jeff Bridges. Now, Stark announces, after going through the experience of being locked up, that he's going to shut down the weapons division, but in secret is building a suit of armor that will help him fight back in terror. And the rest of the movie essentially is a two-part film between superhero and kind of espionage thriller, as another character, Stark knows, also learns how to put together the suit and becomes his mortal enemy. Now, Iron Man, as a lot of you know, when it first came out in May of 2008, was both a critical and a commercial smash. And it's not too hard to see why. There's a lot to like about Iron Man. First off, I really liked the characters presented here, and the way they were performed. Downey Jr. plays off Iron Man and Stark as kind of this arrogant millionaire slash billionaire, whatever it was, playboy, that is kind of almost a douchebag at times, but the way he does it, I think he provided a lot of charisma to that, and I really liked this performance. It's for this reason, I'll just say right now, for anyone who's wondering, that Iron Man is my personal favorite of the Avengers, and I'll go into why in some of the other reviews, but I thought Downey Jr. was perfectly cast. I really enjoyed him. But he wasn't the only one. I also liked Terrence Howard as Rhodey because he played him off as kind of like a big brother figure, that he's constantly mentoring him. Like, there's a flashback scene early on in the movie where Stark, who's supposed to show up at a conference and award ceremony, is out gambling, and Rhodes has to show up. He's like, "You're missing your show," and later on he's like, "You almost missed your flight." And that was a good sort of brother, family-esque character that I thought Howard did well. But he also manages the military leader very well. And I brought this up, I think, in my Red Tails review, which I'll bring that up in one or two more of these videos. But I always bought that in him, and I like that too. So those two were good. And I also want to talk about Gwyneth Paltrow because as far as superhero movies go, I think her character is one of the better love interests. Little fun fact here, Paltrow was attracted to the whole romantic relationship between those two, but the reason I liked it personally because she's involved with Stark, like she helps him out, but she never really becomes a damsel in distress. Kind of, maybe you could argue that in the end, but not to the point where it was obnoxious. It never got to Mary Jane, Lois Lane levels. And heck, she kind of helped Stark win in the final climax. So that's another thing to help her with. So yeah, those are our three main leads that I all really enjoyed. But of course, this is a superhero movie, and we have to talk about the action. How is it? Well, let me put it this way. It's kind of like the lightsaber in the original Star Wars trilogy, in where it isn't very common, but when it is, it's really badass. I personally thought, because there are lots of explosions, there's butt kicking, and it's paced and timed in just the right way. Like, personally, I kind of more like the espionage thriller part of this movie. There's a whole concept of how the terrorist group was involved with certain personnel in the United States. Again, not going to spoil who it is. And that was almost more interesting to me. But I thought they balanced it out perfectly. Jon Favreau managed it well. So that was some great direction. There's just so much that works about this movie. The story's great, the action's great, and the main characters are really enjoyable. Iron Man is just a really good time. Definitely more than your regular summer blockbuster. Now, I will admit there's one problem I did have with this movie, and that was the villain. A lot of you are probably wondering why I didn't bring up Jeff Bridges and Obadiah Stane. Okay, granted, that's probably a spoiler right there, but yeah, he is the main villain. Why I didn't bring him up, though, is I didn't find his character all that interesting in this movie. Note slamming to Bridges, who I thought was good in this movie, as I always think Bridges is, but the character of Stane, there really wasn't anything menacing about him. There wasn't anything dark that you'd get from another Marvel villain like, say, Magneto or Loki or even Red Skull, who, again, we'll touch on later, but that just kind of brought it down for me. And it's a problem for me personally because I really love movie villains. If I haven't established it before, they're usually my favorite characters of the movie, and this just really disappointed me. You can argue that the final battle was kind of cool, and I'll say that too, but on a whole, I just didn't like this villain. But that's really my only gripe about it. On a whole, I just really liked the movie. It was a lot of fun. I liked it when I first saw it. I've liked it every time I've seen it since. If you like action movies, if you like superhero movies, or if you even like espionage movies, I really think you could get an enjoyment out of Iron Man. It definitely started the Marvel Universe franchise with a bang, and it left it open for lots of good stuff. So, 4.5 stars out of 5. For Iron Man. You can find all my movie reviews on my YouTube channel. If you have a movie you'd like me to review, comment on this video or on my channel. Subscribe if you like, and until next time, peace!